Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in and check out your boy, B Farm, thinking right out here in the lab. Back in the book, I got a good lesson for you coming up, so you know the deal. Let's get this party started. Rightism, 25 rules to live by. Storytelling, story with a message. There's a message in the story for life. I give you life lessons. You tune in to receive them. I appreciate you. We got a good thing going. Let's rock. Right thinking mission, and I'm on it, is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinker's way of life through mental and spiritual discipline practice daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal of reaching spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission is that all right thinkers know thyself. If you're a right thinker, you have a goal, and that is to, know thyself. You see where we're going with this? So let's get there together, and I'm going to ask you the question. Do you know you? You will when I'm through. That's what I do. It's rhetorical, but if you don't have the answer for yourself, tune in. I help you with that. That's what I do. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple, but you can teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. Appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believe and think that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know. It's okay. They're spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. I'm the spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. That's what I do for you. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers know thyself. And to my eye, be true. You see this, right thinkers? Let's talk about the sun disk, the original symbol for God. Okay, let me break that down for you. We got some good stuff here for you today. See this symbol right here? I gave you that lesson last one. Let me go over it now. We're going to break it down for you, hopefully. And then I'm going to slide over into yoga philosophy and the world religions. I'm going to break down everybody's philosophical religion for you. Okay? And no, that's going to be another lesson. We're going to do some isms. Shh. Got some good stuff coming for you. I'm going to let you know I'm in teaching mode right now. Let's go. The symbol I just showed you. The sun disk symbol is seen in almost every yantra. That's like a mosaic design. And a symbolic diagram containing what? Mystical knowledge. Often used for meditation. Of the Indian, Hindu, and the Tantra religious mythologies, it is known as the Bindu seed, primordial origin of all things. You see them with the little red dot in the middle of their head. They understood. They got the concept. The dot, that's God. That place between the two temples, not made with human hands, between here, right there. Third eye, Egyptian called it third eye. Everybody had a concept, but everybody knew how to get to God, understood God for their perspective, and it worked for them as a culture. Excuse me. Now, you have models of diagrams are always faulty. Why? Because of the limited human mind and because we are trying to use words and other approaches to what? To get an understanding of the world, which is what? Beyond words and symbols. We trying to bring something that's not in there into words and signs so we can understand it. That's what the art of philosophy and mythology is all about. To give you something that can be explained, explain it. Now, in ancient Egyptian terms, the designations, we use the word netter. That means one. Neteru means more than one, plural. God and goddesses, male and female they are. But neter means singular. Nabercha means all-encompassing, meaning it's male and female. And then they got pa netter, okay, are not to be considered, listen, as being in the same category as the netters. So again, they got different concepts, principles that they work, elements in there are. Also, while high God and goddesses forms such as those of, these names familiar, Asar, Amun, Ra, Aset, And they are all depicted in anthropomorphic form, meaning they have headdress of an animal most likely. And those are the anthropomorphic deities. They too have a transcendental aspect which ties them to what? Absolute God. These are all aspects and emanations of God to explain, again, the unexplainable. They did a good job at that. They are like bridges connecting two things, which have one end in time and space, which is here in the physical world, and the other end in the transcendental world beyond, mentioned the spiritual realm. That's where the spiritual body is inside the physical body. That's where everything happens for us in the what? Afterlife. When the physical body runs out, the spirit got to do one of two things. Go find another host body or go home to the maker. Why? Because it knows itself. That's the key. Neter and Neteru, Nebercha, and Pa Neter, again, are all also just the universal Ba, or what we call the self. Okay? Know thyself. It is the Ba, or the soul, from which what? All souls come, including all human souls, aka we call the individual Bas. My individual Ba is my personality, mine, it's me. But the universal Ba is what everybody, that's the spirit that God is in everybody and everything. So get the concept, understand it, please. The self is everything. Not only is it created itself, but its creation, but it sustains it at every moment. We consider this time and space, but we under God's control. Why? You got the sun, takes care of the earth, and you got the heart that's in man on earth, and it exists, and it go on, what, every day. Why? Because it's sustained by God. Pure energy, okay? Pure consciousness, the all, again. In the same manner as the sun supports the earth, life on earth, God supports the sun and the universe. Again, the self, here we go, is not located in the realm of time and space. No, it's inside the physical body here, as are the other netters and the three worlds. You got earth, the Tuat, and the intermediate world, the astral plane, and they got heaven, as they are known in the Kemetic Egyptian system. Watch this, or the physical earth, astral, the Duat, the casual, which they call heaven. That's where Amun-Ra resides. You got to get there. He's called the witness. I gave that lesson already. But this is the concept. And as they are known even in India, Vedanta system, the self, again, is what causes what? Time and space. Before the self said, let there be, everything was just there. Potential, everything. But until it was acted on when he gave the command, and that's when time and space began, or y'all consider it the Big Bang. And now the appearance of the physical objects that exist in the world, because everything has an opposite. You got poles. I broke that down for you already. But God is absolute reality. He is the circle. He encompasses everything. The dot is you. And the absolute is truly what? Beyond description. Again, we use the dot and the circle. Why? Because it's words is hard. Again, but description of the words or models, again, to impress the concept or get you to understand it, in order to truly understand and know the absolute, aka God. We don't want you to believe in God. We gave you everything you needed to know God. And one must be what? One with the absolute. You got to become conscious. The spirit is already there. You got to become conscious of the fact. And you must be pure of heart. That's living right, doing right, selfless service, conduct yourself in a respectful manner, holding yourself accountable for all your actions and all your words. Because that judgment day, that's what they're going to judge you by. How pure was your heart? One must transform what? Your ego personality. I told you, that is the problem for most people. They don't even know it. the ego personality into what? A godlike one. Well, how am I going to do that? In order to know God, pay attention, which is the same as what? Knowing one's heart or one's true nature. Thyself. No matter how you slice it, it still comes back to that. They give you a whole bunch of other stuff, but it still comes back to that. And watch this. The self is what causes, no, I did that, excuse me, we down here. Quick phrase from the ancient Egyptian proverb. Men are mortal gods. Right there. Right there. In the flesh, we're mortal gods. We know we're God, but in the flesh, we're mortal. And gods are what? Immortal men. When you become conscious of who you are, you become immortal. Why? You go back to the maker, and that's God. That's the immortality of what? Gaining self-knowledge. That ancient Egyptian proverb. Now let's talk about the Christian concept. Jesus said, know ye not that ye are gods. That means you don't know yourself. You're ignorant of your true self. He was trying to enlighten you and educate you. Why? Because he was. He knew God. He knew God and I are one. He knew that. He tried to tell everybody else that. Y'all misinterpreted. And the big wigs said, well, if the people get wind of that, our business is going down the drain. We got to get rid of him. Hence, he became a martyr. All right, moving over here. Now, all creation at the absolute realm is, see that? I don't want to do the other finger, but this is the signal figure of one. Through the veil of Aset, a.k.a. ignorance. She is the wisdom, so she is the complete opposite of who? Set, your ego. She wants you to be intuitive knowledge, have knowledge of self. Intuitively, you should know thyself. And ignorance, and it appears, watch this, it appears as though creation is dual. I told you the first thing he did was create Maya. I mean, he got balance. He needs opposites to make things work. And creation is dual. Why? Consistent of what? You can't have heaven without what? Earth. You can't have earth without heaven. You can't have good without what? Evil. You can't have day without night. You can't have negative without positive. You can't have male without female. You got the yin and the yang. You see where we're going with this? It's all dual. Creator and created and so on. It all works together. But in appearance, however, it is an illusion. What? That's created by who? You ready? Our ignorance of our conditioned mind, which identifies with what? Our own human, limited, individual, egoistic self, our body, instead of with what? The source, the what? The self, the ancient Egyptian goddess Aset. She told you, I Aset am all that was, all that has been, all that is or shall be, and no mortal man have ever unveiled me. If you're ignorant, you're never going to get her. In the Christian biblical concept, it is written, no man have seen God at any time. John 1:18. But didn't your boy say he wrestled with God and pioneered? Didn't God say he saw God face to face? Everything about God is all in the mind. It's all mental. Okay? The spirit he gives, that's life. That's the gimme. The Holy Spirit, the Holy Ghost, stop that nonsense. That's the spirit that's in us. That's God given. That's the gift of life to man. What man do it is just give to God. Bring it back to him. If you give a gift, you exchange that gift, you bring it back better than it was when you got it. How about that? That's you knowing thyself. Ooh, I like that concept. I like that idea. Watch this. Now, I got one more little phrase here before I end this lesson and start the next one. I got some good stuff. Your mystical practice, meaning spiritual discipline practice, Maya or right thinking philosophy, daily, what? It implies shifting one's consciousness from identifying with what? Individuality, the ego self, or to identify with universality, your true self, your higher self. Set lower, Haru higher. See where we're going with this? The self. And by doing this, you accomplishing this shift in identification. When you're starting to wake up, you're becoming conscious of who you are. The shift in identification of what? Who one thinks one really is. If you don't know who you are, well, I'm MJ Ford, I mentioned it, yeah. No, that's just giving regular run-of-the-mill concept. I'm a male, I'm this, I'm that. No, do you know yourself? Do you know God? Oh, I believe in God. I'm a Christian. I'm going to... You see a commercial in the cartoon, the guy just blow his stack. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm blowing up because that's the ignorance concept you can have, and a lot of us live by that thought, okay? And they think they are human, but in effect, the process of waking up is the removing of the veil of what? Ignorance. That's the veil that Aset wants you to remove. Why? Because that's set. She wants you to get set out the damn way. It is the process of what? Becoming what one really is already is. You ready? You got Haru, you got Christ, you got Buddha, you got the saint, and you got the sage, etc. You see where we're going with this? All these is enlightened people who knew themselves. From every culture, they make a difference. They all had somebody. And thus, watch this, the symbol of the sun disk is at the same time a symbol which depicting what? Duality as well as non-duality, meaning we're all in God and we're all creations of God. So God is part of us, we're part of God. Like they use the ocean, for example. Every drop of that water is part of the ocean. Okay, understand that. I cut the lesson short because I got a whole full page of information coming up for you, but this was just to get you with the sun disk and understand the symbol for the sun disk. Now we're about to get into the yoga philosophy and the world religions. I'm going for it. I'm not stopping. All right, let's rock. I can't stop. I hate because I'm gonna use my time wisely. This is good information. Now let's talk yoga philosophies and the world's religions and what they feel about, what they think, their dogma, their philosophy. Yoga philosophy and disciplines have developed independently, again, as well as in conjunction with religious philosophy. Everybody pick and choose what they like. Okay. It may be accurate to say that yoga is a science unto itself, which religions have used and personally incorporated into what? Their religious philosophies and the practices by relating what? The yogic principles to symbols such as deities, gods, goddesses, angels, etc. See, they stole the philosophy, they stole the concept, and that's okay. But the following is a brief description, I'm about to run it down for you, of what we call yoga philosophies in comparison to the religious and the mystical philosophies which is developed alongside them at the same time. They had different views, and they're going to break it down for you, starting with monotheism. We about to do the, I'm got this lesson. This is going to lead me into the isms. That's why I want to get this out of the way, because the next lesson will be about the isms. I got you. But let's talk about this right quick. Yoga philosophies and different world religion philosophies. Starting with monotheism. What's monotheism? That's the belief in existence of one single God in the universe. Christianity, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam are the major monotheistic religions. One God concept, no problem. It must be noted here that what the form of the monotheism espoused by the major Western religions is that of an exclusive personified deity who exists where, in fact, separate from creation. That's why I don't do Western style religions. Right there, that fact, right there. I have a problem with that, and I'm not gonna co-sign that. No. Why? When you separate God from his creation, you going the wrong way. Simple as that. But now, in contrast, they claim to be monotheistic, but watch this. If you got the wrong God, I don't care what you call it. In contrast, the monotheism of the Egyptian and the Hindu and even Native American, hey, remember them, the Indians? They got, okay, a monolithic theism concept. What's this? Envisions what? A single supreme deity that is expressed as what? The supreme deity of all other traditions as well as the phenomenal world. It ain't but one God. Everybody understood that. So monotheism, taking one God and branching off, that's they call polytheism. That's the next step we're about to go into. They said Egyptian was monotheistic, polytheistic. We did everything. Let's break down polytheism. What that means. Just like polygamy, more than one. Okay? Polytheism, belief in a worship of what? Many gods. There you go, more than one. Such gods, and in India, they proud of that. They're not held to one God. Well, they know it's different aspects of God that they can pick and choose the one they like. The Jews pick Yahweh. Out of all the gods, we take Yahweh. What's that? What's my Trevor? Give me Yahweh for 5. Okay, we rocking with Yahweh. That's what they've been rocking with. It's been working for them, so how can they be wrong? Anybody that used to do something for themselves and they benefit and prosper, how could they be wrong? Because you ain't doing it. It ain't about you. Again, that's respecting somebody else's rights and wishes to believe and think and act as they wish. I'm not here to cast aspersions on nobody's philosophy, nobody's belief system at all. Okay? We all have one and respect it, and we'll be fine. Moving on. Let me talk about this right quick. But polytheism is belief in a worship of many gods. Now, such gods usually have specific attributes, again, and function, but we call them principles. Same thing. But they look at it as many gods because we call them gods and goddesses, but they are elements and they're all functional principles that you can manifest. That's how they become real. Pantheism. You know what that is? There's 2 ways. You got absolute pantheism where they say everything there is God. Okay, fine. Modified pantheism, here we go, is what? God is the reality or principle behind nature. Again, I can go with both of them. Don't have a problem with pantheism. What else we got? Okay, panentheism. This is Panentheism. Now, this term was coined by K.C.F. Krauss back in 1781, and it was used to describe the doctrine, what? That God is immanent in all things, but also transient, so that every part of the universe has its existence in God. I ain't got a problem with that. But he is more than the sum of the total. Okay, I agree with that. God is more than the sum total of all the parts. Everybody in existence still can't outnumber God. Simple. I get the concept. And okay, that's panentheism. I ain't got a problem with their philosophy. Again, when you understand what somebody symbolic is representing, it ain't got to be right or wrong. Just understand it and respect it. That's it. You ain't got to practice it. You ain't got to no. Just understand it. That's all they want. That's all you want somebody to, for your belief system. Just hear me out. Just okay. Well, have same respect for somebody else. That's what I'm saying. Let's go. I'm almost done. Now we get into my favorite, Shita Netta, which is an ancient Egyptian religion, Egyptian yoga, and the Vedanta philosophy. They all pretty much follow the same concept. So we're going to tie them all in together. That's what they just did. Monotheistic polytheism. That's what they called it. Because the ancient Egyptian religion and even the Hindu and the Vedanta philosophy encompasses a single and absolute supreme deity, the one, which expresses, there we go, emanations as cosmic forces. We call it nature, the universe. They call it God and goddesses, and even human beings and nature. That's a perfect on-point concept. Number 2. Now, this is what I've practiced. I'm familiar with that, and I'm on board with that one. Number 2. Absolute monism. That means only one God is reality, and we say that all the time. All else is emanations, imagination. Anything that spins off from God out in that circle is of God. Number 3, modified monism. What's that? It says God is to nature as soul is to the body. That means he's the inner workings of the outward nature. He's the inner working, the body in the body. He's the inner working of the spirit that's inside the physical body. That should be hard to understand. Wrap it up and take it home. Here we go. Now, straight yoga philosophy says human consciousness and universal consciousness are in reality what? One and the same. Sorry, I get excited. But right, my point exactly. When you become conscious of who you are, that you and God are the same. Jesus tried to tell you, I'm trying to tell you, everybody been trying to tell you for thousands of years. It's not going to stop. The appearance of separation in the mental illusion is what they call the mental illusion. Yoga is the mystical and the mindful, thoughtful awareness and observation with the union of your individual consciousness with your what? Universal consciousness. Your human with your godly, your lower self with your higher self become one to know thyself, and you're connected with what they call your universal consciousness. You're becoming one with God. That's the lesson. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you got it. The more important thing is that you got it and understood it. That's my goal. That was my mission. Hope I did it. And in closing, right thinkers, may y'all live to be 100. Me, 100 minus a day. So I never know that you all passed away. I'll be back. I got yoga. I got a nice little selection of spiritual categories compared. We about to do some isms, okay? All the top row is all about atheism, theism, ethicism, ritualism, monism, polytheism, monotheism, pantheism. One we just went through, but it's going to break down who practiced it and what it's all about. Good information. Again, I will look at that and say, well, that's the fluff. No, I got a whole page of information about to bring and make a whole lesson out of that. So I'll be right back.